Hi, I'm Caitlin with the New Englander, and today we're here with Gabe to do a follow up on the Vivek event last Friday. My first question is, why did you decide to protest outside of the event?
Yeah, so I remember last time last year I had actually gone to his event, and I asked a question about the opioid crisis, and he had proposed invading Mexico to solve it. And that was an idea that just stood out as very abhorrent to me, and it really sort of paved the way for this deep not liking Vivek. Um, and as well as he seeks to disenfranchise young voters, which is something that I cannot stand for. And I know that I was the only one out there, and I think that largely that was because of the time that it was, but I also think that on campus there is a base of people who do not support Vivek, and it they needed to be heard. A lot of them had classes, a lot of them said that they would attend but couldn't because of classes. It was a weird situation and a weird time, and I figured that I'm gonna be the one who has to do it.
Our second question is, where do you disagree with his viewpoints?
Yeah, so, how much time do you have? I think that he is a warmonger. I know for a fact that he has millions of dollars invested in BlackRock. I know for a fact that he really does not support democracy. I think he is very much a class supremacist. I think that he does not want disenfranchised people voting. And I think that that's just something that as a country we can't really stand for. And also, I think that, like I said, he's a warmonger. He wants to go into Mexico. He wants to put more troops in places where they don't belong. And another thing I can't get behind. Um, Really, like, his environmental policy is really bad, even though that wasn't the focus of my protest. Um, just sort of denying that it's happening, or at least flipping between denying that it's happening and being like, maybe we'll do something small about it, but we don't have to do much. Like, he deeply, I think, is a coward, and I don't want somebody like that running in government.
Our third question is, what were your thoughts on the online reaction to everything?
I thought it was pretty funny, to be entirely honest. You know, it was weird because they fell hook, line, and sinker for what he was trying to do. What he was trying to do was to take away the teeth from my argument and to put me up on a pedestal as somebody that he saved and somebody that he did a service. And people fell for it totally. I have a lot of people being like, oh, this is how politics should be done. Nevertheless, that he hounded a 19-year-old who has no media training with like 50 cameras. It wasn't exactly a, professional job. Um, and it was really very much to silence me because the people in that room heard what I had to say. But to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, the rest was not captured on SiriusXM. I was essentially silenced by him bringing me in. And he's managed to pass it off with the optics of him not doing that. It's the optics of him promoting civility. It's the optics of him listening to young people, which it is very clear that he has no intention on doing.
Following up with that last question, do you think Vivek accurately portrayed what happened at that event on his social media and the various news platforms he went on?
No. The video clip was highly edited with a lot of the things that I took out. Like, a lot of things that I said were taken out. It was clearly very rehearsed on his end. He had a lot of time to think about how he wanted to approach the situation, and I had virtually none. He only showed clips of me when I was off balance, a little bit thrown off guard by the fact that I was being mobbed by cameras. And really, I didn't appreciate my characterization as somebody who's very weak. That's sort of how it came across. Um, Funny enough, a few of the videos are at a weird camera angle where I am dwarfing him due to perspective. That's funny, like really funny, because it's the opposite of the spin that he tried to push this on. Um, I saw one picture. I think it was the one on the ABC thing, where it looks like I'm about to go into battle against him. That one is pretty funny as well. Um, but yeah, I think it's alarming how easily he was able to manipulate the situation into his benefit instead of what really everybody in the room that wasn't being paid to think that, thought. It was kind of weird. He desperately wanted to silence a 19-year-old so much that, like, I guess he felt threatened or something. Maybe it was the Furries for Vivek sign that just really threw him over the edge. Um, but he felt the need to silence me in such a way that makes him look as if he's doing the opposite. And I think that that's disgusting. And I think that I've had a really new outlook on politicians, similarly negative to my one before it. Um, that makes me realize, like, you really can't trust much of anything that you see online at all. Like, it's always edited, manipulated, and to fit somebody else's narrative. And I think that that was an eye-opening thing. And I think that from what I've been told, it being used as an example in like media studies classes, um, I think that that's plain to see for most people. Um, those who really sat down and watched the whole thing could understand how uncomfortable this was. People that didn't, or people that came into it with the expectation of it being some like, like a, bridge healing moment, or like some like liberal gets owned episode 48 on YouTube moment. Um, like they're gonna walk out of it with that same mindset. It's almost like a Rorschach test in a way for if you're willing to question the things that you see. And I saw an alarming amount of people not questioning the things that they saw.
Thank you so much, Gabe, for taking the time today to sit down and talk with us. Any final words?
Yeah, I actually have a few. I'm running a coat drive on the 21st is when we're taking donations, and we are going to be redistributing them to people who come by and need coats on the 22nd, and then after that they will be put into charities and into schools. If you are interested, feel free to stop by at the community park between 10:30 and 4 p.m. on October 21st and 22nd. I also run a radio show on 91.7 WNEC FM every Friday at 5 p.m. Called What's That Sound?
Thank you again.